Yeah, I think what I've been most impressed with Chelsea this season, maybe it's just the games I've been at, but it's felt like it's been against the better opposition. So I'll go back to the start of the season. The first game against Liverpool, they dominated that game. I remember Arsenal going to Stamford Bridge and probably being quite fortunate to come away with a point. The game between these two at Stamford Bridge also, they got a good result away at Tottenham. So I think Pochettino, when he's come up against top managers and how he's set his team up and how he's gone about nullifying them and causing the opposition problems, I think he's come out of those games pretty well.
You know what I say about that, Carra, as well, is when you... Such a young squad, Chelsea, and I think when they're coming up against the best teams, psychologically it's like we're going out there showing we're on that level. Like, of course, every game you want to do that. Consistency is what makes a team win the title, but in a young team with so many players who are on the same mentality of like, yo, we're good enough, we can do this. And I think that's why Carra's saying about against the bigger teams, they seem to perform better consistently. They've had good results in those games.
I just think as well, when Chelsea have got the ball, you know, we think of Chelsea of old being dominant and all that, but there's nothing wrong with being a counter-attacking team. They look at their best when they keep their shape and then they explode with pace on that counter-attack with Jackson, Sterling, Cole Palmer coming into little pockets and then Gallagher running in behind. I just think there's no harm in that. It suits them well and it worked for them today.
It did work for them today, up to a point. There was a difference in opinion between you two at half-time as to how Chelsea should approach the second half. Probably the difference of an opinion between a striker and a defender, where you were saying, protect the lead, and you were like, no, what you're doing is working and keep doing it. They did make the change at 70 minutes. Did it work?
Well, they went to a five at the back. I wouldn't say they want to protect the lead. I think just subconsciously, as a defender, that's what you want to do. We've been in that position and you just want to save what you have. It was always going to be difficult because Man City was going to dominate the ball and they was getting joy from their counter-attacks and playing through the third. So it was always going to be difficult, but City was always going to turn it up in that second
See,
half.
for me, yeah, it's like things are going nice, counter-attacks, chops and changes, combinations, all type of things. I'm thinking, as the attacker, we can get more chances. And I think they didn't have a shot after 70 minutes. You know, they've gone to five at the back, they've not had a shot. So they were so threatening, even in the second half, with Jackson still doing his thing, whatever. And the two most threatening players came off the pitch.
Yeah, but the only thing is...
sorry, Jackson, I think he ended the game.
City had 71% of the ball.
But possession
So
means...
if you get your team further up, then there becomes more gaps for the likes of Foden and De Bruyne to get in them pockets to create more chances. I understand what you're saying is they should go for it and try because that's what they did in the first half and it worked for them. But you know what it's like as a player. When City are on the ball, it tire you out.
They do.
I probably, in commentary, I saw that, and I think it's very difficult as a manager. When you're winning and you make a defensive change, you're leaving yourself open to, and if you don't go on and win the game, people sort of have a go at you. But I could get where Pochettino was coming from, and I don't think it was a case of, right, we're defending now. I just think the way the game was going was City were getting that ball wide to Doku. He was getting time and space. De Bruyne was getting more space. There was more crosses coming into the box. And I always think I always like teams playing against City with a back five, unless you're a real top side and you think you can go up against them. Because when they've got that front five, I think it's difficult to stop with the back four. And I just think Pochettino's probably looking at that and thinking, Doku's starting to get into the byline, De Bruyne's getting to the byline. We need to try and nullify that to try and keep our lead and stay in the game.